soaking wet right now.
The Rings of Power Season 2 is a cinematic masterpiece. It is one of the TV shows of all time, almost as good as Battlefield Earth or the critically acclaimed Jack and Jill. In this video, we'll explore 7 key themes that make The Rings of Power better than The Lord of the Rings. Number 1, the Orcs. If you've ever seen Peter Jackson's trilogy or the highly acclaimed Hobbit movies, one thing is for sure, The Rings of Power hands down does the Orcs better.
Are you serious?
From every aspect of how the orcs look on screen to making them look like real 3D characters. The makeup is on point and they have real personalities, emotions and families. With this widely well-received move of giving the orcs husbands, wives and children, the writers have subjected them to the torment of a marriage and raising little shitty orc toddlers, thus giving the orcs a real motivation to leave their homes and families behind in Mordor. And this genius move is the first step in bringing the orcs to life, because in Season 3 the writers have just confirmed that the orcs will have to fill out their annual tax returns and transfer their pension funds from the Addar's Children Retirement Fund to Sauron's Got Your Back 666 Fund.
Yep, love them. Love taxes.
Number 2, the truly epic Lord of the Rings references. Because we all know for a piece of work that wants you to judge it on its own merit, the only possible way to do this is to have random Lord of the Rings references. And this of course is for the true Tolkien fans who have only seen the Lord of the Rings movies, because who has time to read the source material anyway? It was also extra nice of them to add a dramatic pause before all of these lines so the audience doesn't miss any of these Easter eggs.
You believe the rings have kindled your ability to see that which has not yet come to pass.
And some things that have not yet come to pass.
The Lord of the Rings.
They will be deemed the most precious.
Oh my God. I get it.
And with each one, crowds of fans would erupt in cheering. People in the cities would dance on the streets, high-fiving strangers. All of this thanks to the Rings of Power. Number 3, probably the best battle scene in history. And if you thought that the opening scene of Gladiator was good, or that Braveheart showed what an actual battle was like, hold your Bud Lights, my fellow elves, because the Rings of Power probably has the battle scene of the century. From world-class battle tactics like uncovering a prisoner on the battlefield that leads to an entire charging cavalry to stop at full speed within kind of like a meter of your spearless front line.
So cool.
Which, by the way, in case you didn't watch the bonus features, you wouldn't have known that the elf army had a group WhatsApp for everyone to kind of get the message at exactly the same time. And what about the Art of War style tic-tacs like sending your cavalry into the woodlands, meaning that 99% of them would get absolutely decimated, just so that your enemy thinks that they have won? That is truly 4D chess moves right there. Not only that, we have the Scott Sterling of the elves getting hit by like 20 arrows.
'Tis but a scratch.
Only to send a heroic arrow into Michael Bay's siege weapon before getting hit by a further arrow to kind of remind her her time is up and to have her big sleep, much like the audience. Number 4, the love triangles galore. The geniusly obtuse writers love some Monty Pythagorean love. From Isildur to that homeless northern girl and her cuck husband, to the centerpiece of the show, Sauron, Gadriel, Elrond, and let's not forget our friend Nobody with Lady Samwise. She counts as 2 because obvious reasons. And over in Numenor, the Queen, Beric and Elendil. Okay, it has to be said, Beric is such a cutie. Now let's look at things from a different angle. One of the main downfalls of The Lord of the Rings was that the only love story was between Frodo and Sam.
Gay?
Well, fear not, as in The Rings of Power we have it all, from hairy hobbit humping, elf ear eloping, and even some mankind minge munching. Thanks to the Amazon boardroom, we have every angle covered. And I have run out of triangle puns, so number 5 is a lesson in death baiting. Modern cinema has ascended to new heights. When you want the audience to think a character is dead, here's one annoying trick that no Hollywood writer tells you. You actually kill them. Then in the very next episode, you pull out an incredible writing tool. For example, let's look at Arondir. Our Legolas from Wish gets stabbed by an arrow, then Adar's dagger. Should be dead, right? Boom, wrong. Writers gave him a type of armor stronger than Mithril, plot armor. And what about our boy Isildur? Who knows what he'll go on to achieve in Middle-earth? Maybe he'll become a tax accountant for the Orcs. But in this series, we have seen masterful tension thanks to multiple plot points that almost kill him. But the writers gave him an even better type of armor, prequel armor.
No, that's genius.
Number 6, Sauron the Soup. For those of us who love to order hot soup on a summer's day, there's nothing better than the origin story of one of the greatest villains of all time, Sauron. From humble beginnings of a pile of belly button fluff that rolled up into this black vermin-flavored soup, to setting up a lukewarm romance with our beloved Gadriel, to using cunning tricks like, ooh, look at my fake wig, to deceive Celebrimbor. He even convinced the Orcs to turn on their beloved father, Adar. How? Who really needs to know? He's a villain. He's doing villainy things. Come on. And also, he has a kick-ass retirement fund. And finally, number 7, Girl Boss Galadriel. Where would we be if we didn't have a girl boss? All of these elf men walking around in circles with their important message to Eregion. Oh, where is my keys? Has anyone seen my glasses? Thanks to our writers, Galadriel has some lovable characteristics like insufferable petulance, unlimited orc kick-ass manner, and most importantly, more insufferable petulance.
She's charming. She's so charming.
It's like the writers looked back at season 1 and thought, how can we give this girl boss a promotion? Sprinkle in a bit of She-Hulk, add a dab of Velma. Oh, let's not forget our love story and her blind spot. Because, you know, Tolkien was a big fan of Twilight, and this Sauron and Glady love story, well, truly is a better love story than Twilight. And you know what? They're also making her go through her hoe phase. How realistic is that? And whilst we're on that, where the fuck is her actual husband? Yeah, I mean, we're probably nitpicking here, minor details. I think he's probably on a lad's holiday while Galadriel has her little toy boy fling. And to be fair, if I was immortal, I'd probably be cycling between hoe phase and settling down.
Yes, Queen.
And so, my friends, we have another season under our belt, and it saddens me because what we had here was a whole season that was beautifully stretched to 8 episodes by writers who could have easily told it in 2 or 3 episodes, where drip-feeding a story seems to be the new norm, where each episode is filled with a boat full of NPCs who you have absolutely no connection with and no care in the world for. Welcome to modern cinema at its peak, where nobody writers who can barely string 2 sentences together get to be at the helm of a beloved IP. Our friends Dumb and Dumber have got to be applauded. Their achievement in getting this gig is the equivalent to applying for a cybersecurity job, when all you have ever done with computers is that one time helping your grandma with her frozen PC by switching it off and on again. But the real credit must go to Amazon, because it would have been easy for them to hire a visionary creator like Del Toro or Jackson, but nope, they went for unknowns. Because with a fantasy show that needs a cohesive vision, it's far better to just tick studio requested boxes to, you know, appeal to a wider audience, to make it more current and hip with the times. Because, you know, Tolkien was all about the vibes. Thankfully, their decision to choose nobody showrunners means that nobody will oppose them, and probably nobody would be watching it if it gets to season 5. And I raise my glass to Amazon for dropping the bar a little lower, making all the pointless, soulless scenes forged together like an anal bead, and the experience of watching the show like pulling it out, which must explain why weirdly some people actually enjoyed watching it. And if you love this, then click on the next video where I dive into how season 1 is better than sliced bread.